Shout out to each and every one of you guys. Shout out to D Styles Boxing. I want D Styles to know that. I absolutely agree with D Styles on a number of different points concerning fanboys and fans who keep on telling you they're unsubscribing to your channel, or they come and they tell you, they make claims about you because you express your opinion online. You have the nerve to express your opinion and even show your face online. Shout out to D Styles, man. Because a lot of people don't have the nerve to show their face. They want to give opinions in anonymity. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the nerve to show their face. They don't have the nerve to put themselves out there. It's kind of like these fans who criticize boxers, but they're not going to get in a boxing ring. They're not going to put themselves on the line. But they go around spreading falsehoods about boxers because they fans. And fans will be fans. I'll give them that. But I mean, come on, man. I wonder sometimes if some people love the sport or if they're just in it to sort of vent their frustrations, and there's only aspects of the sport they like, and they're really fanboys. They like certain boxers because they can relate with them or whatever. I don't know, man, but you get all kinds of fans out here, and some of them just follow no logical reasoning. A lot of them, you tell them something that really is about boxing, and it's about boxing you're talking, and they try to attack you for that, for not just expressing your opinion, but expressing an informed opinion. Somebody would come off of facts, come off of things, research things, show you things, and they still criticize you. I respect D Styles. I don't always agree with everything he says, but I respect him because he always comes with something different, an informed opinion. He actually thinks about what he's about to say. I don't agree with him all the time, and I've seen him change his opinion over time as well. I have done the same, and I respect him. The difference is that I'm not afraid to put my face out there. I'm not afraid to put my face out there. I'm not even afraid to show you guys this is my room. There's my clothes over there. There's some books here. There's my bed right here. I'm in my room. I'm a 43-year-old guy. I live in my mom's house. My mom is not too well. We're trying to get her back to health. It is what it is. I'm not afraid to put myself out there like that. A lot of you guys are cowards. A lot of you guys like to talk things. You can't back it up. A lot of you guys don't want to put yourself out there and express your opinion. Like D Style said, if you have such a strong opinion about it, open a channel and express your opinion. But you're afraid to do it. You coward. You're afraid that other people will judge you and speak about you. You want to do this in anonymity. I'm called what you need, but my real name is Anson Phillip. I told you guys this. I don't have a problem expressing who I really am on here because I have nothing to hide. A lot of you guys are afraid. You want to express your opinions in anonymity. You don't want to come out there and show yourself. I believe in Jesus. I ain't got a problem saying that. I say that every day of the week. People got a problem with me expressing that. But you wouldn't come out and make your own video and say what your views are. A lot of you guys are cowards, man. Cowards and fanboys. It's all good. To each his own. At least know who you are, though. Don't be fake about it. Be real. Hey man, let me give you one. Psalm 6 says, "Rebuke me not in your anger, neither chasten me in your hot displeasure. Have mercy upon me, O Lord, for I'm weak. O Lord, heal me, for my bones are vexed." I like to, as I said before, educate people. I like people to know about a sport. Like chess. I love chess. So what I do, I share things about chess that people may not know. Boxing to me is kind of a game of athletic chess. And so I try to show you the cerebral side of boxing. And the cerebral side of boxing is not like chess per se, but it is exactly like chess in many respects. It's not just going out there and just rock 'em, sock 'em robots. It's not that. Okay. Now there are the dangers of boxing. I want to talk about that. It's just like if you're playing poker or you're playing cards, you have to know when to hold, when to fold. I'm going to talk about when to fold right now, which is Adonis Stevenson's case in point. And that's why you cannot fault Jack Reese. I'm tying everything together. You cannot fault Jack Reese for his decision when he decided to make sure that Tyson Fury, even though he got up, even though Tyson Fury got up, Jack Reese needed to check his locomotion to see if he had slurred movements, slurred speech, because with a blow like that, you never know. The dude could have a hemorrhage in his head. His brain could be swelling from that punch, those sets of punches. You just never know. And the guy could just drop down at the end of the fight and die. So Jack Reese was checking out his, what we call reaction, his motor and his sensory neurons. First, to see if he was hearing Jack Reese, and secondly, to see if he could respond. So when he spoke to him, and then Jack Reese made him go sideways because he could fake it going straight at him. So they go sideways to see. He had to change direction to see. And for the most part, Tyson Fury was able to do that. Okay. Now, this is very important for you guys to understand. This is for the boxer's safety. Okay. You may not care about the boxer like that, but the ref is almost like, you know, if you do healthcare, that person's in your hands. The ref has to ensure that those boxers come out of that ring safe. He has to do his best to make sure that happens. And the safety of the boxers is the foremost priority in that match. Yes, it's a match in which somebody will win and somebody will lose, and the ref is to officiate and to facilitate that. But the safety of the boxers is the primemost, one of the foremost things why there's a referee in there. Okay. And there was an interview with Jack Reese about in 2000, I think it was 2017, which is a year before now, where he spoke on, you know, what steps and measures he takes to ensure that both participants in a boxing match are alive. And you can go ahead and check it out. I think it was for Fight Hype. Could have been with another group. And Jack Reese has been consistent. It's of recent times, as the interviewer was saying to Jack Reese on Fight Hype, which was this year after the boxing match, he noticed that referees were doing a particular sort of thing with the fighters, as, you know, making them move off to the side. And Jack Reese was able to explain that in a lot more detail. And why that's important is because there's an article that came out in boxingscene.com. It came out just a couple of minutes ago today, actually about 3 hours ago, in which Adonis Stevenson suffered severe traumatic brain injury. Tough Adonis Stevenson. He suffered severe traumatic brain injury. In other words, he took one punch too many. One punch too many. In Pound for Pound Boxing Report, I'm going to follow up on what I said about Adonis Stevenson, but you guys are going to get the scoop first. You got it first. As I told Mike in Pound for Pound Boxing Report, I told him the same thing I'm telling you guys right now. I thought Adonis Stevenson should have left boxing after that Battle Jack fight. He was competitive in his fight with, well, actually, he wasn't competitive against Alexander Gvozdyk. He was not really competitive. Gvozdyk was hitting him at will, circling him a lot. Yeah, he hurt Gvozdyk, but really, Gvozdyk was accumulating punishment on him as the fight was progressing. He was slowing down again, gassing out again, getting dehydrated once again, and Usyk hit him with one punch too many. That punch when he was in the corner, when he got caught with the straight right, that was one punch too many. And you know, that's the thing. You know, sometimes a ref might feel like he failed. He failed the fighter, because if that had been stopped a little sooner, all right, when he went against the ropes, not when he was in the corner, when he was against the ropes, slumping over, and then he drifted into the corner, the ref should have stopped it right there. But of course, hindsight is 20/20, right? But in addition to that, as I said before, the dude was too old. He was too old. And this guy has a lot to live for. He has a lot of family. He has a lot of money. All of that doesn't mean anything right now, because at this present time, he has severe traumatic brain injury. We do not know what kind of person Mr. Superman Adonis Stevenson is going to be if he does recover from this injury, or whether they'll have to pull the plug on him. You know what I'm saying? And that is serious. Okay? I want to say something else. Tyson Fury looks like a hero now. after getting that shot from Deontay Wilder. But ask yourself this question, and this is what Floyd Mayweather has been saying over and over. Was it cool that he received that kind of punishment? Yeah, he acted like a true champion. But you know, that punishment that he got, just like Timothy Bradley, is going to pay off in 10 years' time. We're going to see the effects of what happened in that fight that Tyson Fury had with Deontay Wilder in that 12th round. We're going to see those effects 10 years from now. Timothy Bradley with Provodnikov, Ruslan Provodnikov, the effects of that, we're going to see that 10 years from now in Timothy Bradley's life. You already see Timothy Bradley slurring. And people don't understand these things. As much as, you know, you look at Sugar Ray Leonard, he looks good, right? But you know how much attention and medical and health attention he had to have, right? For his eyes and the rest of his body. A lot of money went into that. So what I'm saying is, it is not cool to be collecting punishment, as Floyd Mayweather said, in this game of boxing. You know, if you can come out of the game of boxing without taking too much punishment, that's a good thing. And so, you know, I'm saying this because Adonis Stevenson is 2 years my junior. Okay, he's 1 year older than my brother. And he's young. He's got a whole life ahead of him. We got to pray he'll recover from this and somehow manage to be okay and live an okay life. We got to hope and pray for that. But like I said before, it's a very serious thing, this boxing. And I told Mike, this guy going to take a beating of the lifetime. Well, severe traumatic brain injury, ladies and gentlemen. That's not good news. And I'm going to say this to boxers. Boxers, the paycheck isn't worth it. Your health comes first. Floyd Mayweather always said, it's not about money. It's about my health. Your health comes first. You know what's the irony of the situation? Adonis Stevenson avoided Sergey Kovalev, or whatever you want to say. He never had to fight with Sergey Kovalev. This was probably one of his latter end fights of his career. And he ends up with severe traumatic brain injury. This guy fought a lot of people. Not necessarily all the people that the fans wanted him to see. Sometimes playing it by the safe route, as we would say. And then at the end of the day, he faces one guy too many. And because of that, look at the position he's in. And I'm just telling you guys another thing for you guys at boxers. If you get an opportunity to face someone that you think may be not economically feasible to you, Tyson Fury faced Deontay Wilder, the biggest, baddest heavyweight out there. Okay. Whereas Anthony Joshua is the most accomplished. Nobody will argue that Deontay Wilder hits harder than Anthony Joshua. He's the hardest hitting heavyweight out there. He faced him. He was able to go 12 rounds with him. They went at it in the 12th round. And you could argue he beat him. Adonis Stevenson had that opportunity with Sergey Kovalev to make that fight. Instead, Andre Ward stole the thunder and did it. And for a career that Adonis Stevenson had, I'm just speaking as a fan now, it's sad that after all that self-preservation, if you want to call it that, or that, you know, it didn't seem to make dollars and cents. He comes, and now he's still going to have to spend all his money on his health. And his life has been changed by this particular fight with Alexander Gavorsdik. And I'm like, and he was in home court. He was in his home court, home territory. Gavorsdik took him out. And I could see it coming from a mile away. Because Adonis Stevenson is old. And the most dangerous time in a boxer's career is when you're old. You went your whole entire career, didn't take a whole set of beatings, right? And you wait till almost your last fight, or almost the end of your career, the ending area of your career, to take a beat. You know, do you know how that messes up your life? Well, in the case of Adonis Stevenson, he had one fight too many. You should not have. Adonis Stevenson should never have been in that ring. Never. Never should have been in that ring. After I saw the Badger Jack performance, I knew this guy needs to get out of boxing. I told Mike that from Pound for Pound Boxing Report. All right? You see, people make choices, they make decisions. You got to live with the choices and decisions you make. You know, I try to tell everybody. I try to tell my mom, I try to tell my brothers, I try to tell different people. You can't blame God for something you done. You made that choice. And when you make that choice, you got to live by it. You know, people can try and help you, but you have to help yourself. You have to be willing. You have to be the person who chooses to help yourself. And Adonis Stevenson made a poor choice. It's not about the money, you know? So here's the details by Lem Sattelfield. Adonis Stevens suffers from severe traumatic brain injury, which requires mechanical respiratory assistance, deep sedation, and specialist neurological monitoring, according to Dr. Alexis Sterling. That means he can't even breathe for himself. You know what that means? That means that the lower stem of the brain, is in problems. Never mind that the cortical region, the stem of the brain is in problems. That's not good news at all. Mr. Stevenson underwent surgery in the night of Saturday to Sunday and since has been admitted to intensive care unit. He suffers from severe traumatic brain injury. His situation is still stable under circumstances but critical, said Turgeon of the Hospital de Enfant Jesus. So the Hospital of Jesus, during a public update on Stevenson. So, you know, baby Jesus, Christmas time, baby Jesus is being focused on. Let's hope that in the name of Jesus, he can get reversed. Anything can happen. And so we just hope that he get a complete recovery. And that the brain could go down, it could stop swelling and go back down. At blows, just too traumatic. Whatever internal bleedings can be healed up in the name of Jesus. We pray, oh brother, they won't pull the plug, but they'll have faith, and our boy could come back. Because I really want to see Steven. He was a very likable character, very nice guy, and I hope that he can come back and live a near to normal life. All right. The doctor goes on. His condition requires mechanical respiratory assistance, deep sedation, and special neurological monitoring. It's too early to comment on Mr. Stevenson's long-term prognosis. I urge the media to be very cautious about distributing medical information that does not come from an official medical source. So this is what's up, folks. This is what's up, and we gotta keep him in prayer. You know, I'd love to see this guy just up and walking and talking at least. You know, so I'm praying with everybody else and wishing him the best. But like I said before, I wanted to focus on this because this is something boxers need to bear in mind. I don't care how much you're enticed to come back into the sport of boxing. And a lot of boxers, you know, because you're still relatively young. When you're 40, I feel young. You know, I'm 43 years old and I feel young. But, you know, hold on a second. Yeah, you know, it's not about how you feel. It's whether your body can actually respond to that. And you have to be smart enough to do that. You know, guys like Floyd Mayweather, they've been smart with their lives so far. But, you know, if you stay in this game too long, you will pay for it. You know, very few boxers like Bernard Hopkins. But look at Bernard Hopkins' fight. His last fight ended. He was punched out of the ring. Okay? Don't be so zealous to do boxing that you kill yourself. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has to make choices in this life. And the choices you make, you know, we can pray to God and all of this stuff, but if we don't, as people, you know, make the choice, you know, you can pray to God how much you want. You know, if you decide to make poor decisions because you ultimately are the steward. You know, God can tell you what you need to do, but if you don't listen or you just choose to do what you want to do, then you have to live by that. Ain't nobody else going to live by it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Adonis Stevenson did. I think he made a poor choice by going into this fight to face the guy. I know it was a mandatory, but I thought this is one of the times where you needed to fold up because I could see it in the Battle Jack fight that he was deteriorating. You know, and just one fight too many, you know, and that's the consequence of it. So I wanted to spend some time really elaborating this aspect of boxing with you guys because This is not a sport which is forgiving, especially if you make a mistake. It's not a very forgiving sport. It's a very difficult sport, and so many boxers leave the sport as casualties. And they've given us all thrilling fights and all of that, but they leave the sport as casualties. Maybe not immediately, maybe after they've retired, they have these degenerative defects that happen to their bodies, but nonetheless, too many casualties from boxing. And we haven't even talked about the not so famous ones that just disappear and we don't hear about them anymore, you know. So people, you gotta, as fans, that's why I said the fans who like blood and guts and glory, and you guys got to understand that's boxing's more than just blood and guts and glory. It was great that Tyson Fury got up from the floor and inspired so many people, especially people with depression and so on, and bipolar disorder and stuff. He was able to inspire those people, but let's make it abundantly clear he's going to pay for that later on in his life. Um, I still have a little bit of the virus, but I'm doing really well for having the virus. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat section before I move on to the next section of discussion. Tommy Temper, my man, answered. Shout out to you, my brother. Do you think he took too much damage from the Jack fight and or sparring for his last fight? I just think he got old, Tommy. He got old. And it showed in the Battle Jack fight that he was a much older guy. Just the response time, and then his conditioning had faltered. And he ran out of gas somewhere around the 8th, 9th round. And he was willing himself at heart, but he was out of gas. And in the 12th round, the final seconds of the 12th round, Battle Jack was just roughing him up. And I looked at him staggering to the corner, and I said, this dude needs to stop fighting now. Like I knew, and yeah, he took punishment from the Battle Jack fight. And Battle Jack's not a big dude, right? But I knew that he needed to retire after I saw him staggering to the corner. That staggering to the corner didn't look good to me at all. And just the way how he threw his shots during the Battle Jack fight as the fight progressed showed me that, yeah, he had the pop. He still had the power, but he's not sharp like he used to be. And that's the signal you need to get out the sport. You need to get out the sport before you get badly hurt. And this guy at the top level was facing this young guy who's hungry, and the young guy just finished him off. And the sad thing about it was, not only was he knocked out when he rolled into the corner, but he got extra shot after that, and that's why he slumped over the ropes. And oh my God, I can't tell you guys how many boxers died. You saw them slump over the ropes, and you didn't realize they're dead. Like, these days we have technology which can kind of suspend somebody in suspended animation and help them to recover and recoup. If you take this back about 20, 30 years, and that he would have been dead. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you guys don't understand how serious this is, how serious boxing is, Tommy Temper said, BL had one fight too many too. Yes, absolutely. And he just came out with his life. So he's fortunate. He's a fortunate guy. He got knocked straight out the ring, fell on his head, and he's just one of those fortunate ones that, he's still talking about boxing now. Adonis Stevenson didn't take that much punishment in his career. And this guy is now, in some serious, it's a very serious state he's in, So I want to discuss this aspect of boxing. I think it's one of those things that a lot of fans, and especially fanboys, I'm very annoyed by fanboys because there's so many logical people out here, but this is a very serious topic. And people got to understand, these guys that go into the ring, I think about right now the Puerto Rican fighter, wonderful Puerto Rican fighter. He's still in a coma, I think, or he's recovering, but very slowly, and his life is totally changed. He was a very promising, fighter, and I don't forget these guys at all. I don't forget them. I remember them in my mind because I know how dangerous this sport is. It's not a sport you can play and cut corners with, That's why I'm worried for Sergey Kovalev. We don't know if the next fight could be his last. You guys don't understand how serious this is, because a lot of people forget about you and they just go on to the next person. I can't forget these things. That's what we're talking about. Um, so especially for boxers, get out the sport while you can. When you're a young person, get out the sport. You know, guys like Mayweather still fighting on. For what? What does it prove? He wants a rematch with Pacquiao, but why? What are you proving by having a rematch with Pacquiao? You want Pacquiao to do well. You want Pacquiao to get okay, fine. But you better know what you're doing because Floyd's gonna be 42 next year. You know, and I don't care what he says. You better know how long you can stay in that ring. You know, you have to know that. Shane Mosley's still boxing. You know, uh, you know, it's nice to have a love for the sport, but his speech is very slurred. You know, you got to know when to get out the game, man. There was a time when most boxers, their speech was slurred, but it don't have to be like that anymore. Times have changed. You don't have to be like that. Sergio Fari says, Wilder got the belt, Fury get the crown. You can buy the belt, the crown give and take the people. And Sergio Fari says, read my comment and say something about that. Right, so we're going to Wilder versus Fury, WBC's response to the robbery. And I call it a robbery. I have no problems calling it a robbery because nobody so far has proven to me that Deontay Wilder has won 5 rounds. In fact, I would say I don't think anybody can prove to me that he won 4 rounds. I dare somebody to prove to me he won 4 rounds. I can actually prove to you that he won 2, but we know that. Everybody knows, those 2 rounds were 10 round 9 and 12. And we could argue that he won round 7. Right? But what other rounds did he win? Maybe you could argue with me round 8. Maybe somebody could argue with me round 8. Okay, what other rounds? And by the way, according to CompuBox punch stats and according to, if you go and watch the fight, round 8 was a Fury round, right? As round 7. But let's just say, okay, we just want to give Wilder some other rounds. Right? You can give him round 7, you can give him round 8. Give me another round he won. And nobody can. So that's basically that, right? Now, this is what the WBC had to say about this. The WBC believes, and this is from BoxingScene.com, shout out to BoxingScene.com. This was yesterday, Tuesday. The WBC believes the draw verdict was a proper ending for Wilder Fury. The World Boxing Council sees nothing wrong with the scoring outcome to last Sunday's fight between the WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder and challenger Tyson Fury. After 12 rounds of action, the contest ended in a 12-round split draw at the Staples Center in Los Angeles with scores of 115-111 for Wilder. And that judge, which was a Mexican judge, who scored at 115-111 for Wilder, gave Wilder the first 4 rounds. I don't know, it was because Wilder was coming forward. I don't know what criteria this judge was doing it by. But by every other metric that you know in boxing, which has to do with defense, effective aggression, clean, effective punching, and ring generalship, on all 4 criteria, I just see Fury winning Wilder in those categories. So I'm not quite sure what that judge was looking at, like I said before. Now, 114-112 for Fury was done by the neutral Canadian judge, I do believe it was. Okay? The Canadian judge, this is the irony of the situation, I thought he got it right. 113 by the British judge for a draw. I'm baffled. I really am. Okay? I don't know what to say. In the aftermath, fans on both sides have complained of a robbery. I don't know about that. Not both sides. But the WBC, through an official statement, is backing the verdict. This is what they actually said. The heavyweight fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury resulted in a sensational, dramatic heavyweight match, and the end result could not be more just with a draw by the three scoring judges. Even though the draw or the difference between one judge to another has created some negative comments on social media, the WBC is proud of both champion Wilder and challenger Fury, as well as the ring officials who work this event. All three judges are honorable members of the boxing community with unquestionable integrity and honorability. Wilder and Fury fought like warriors inside the ring, but in the end, gave everybody a lesson of humility. We're extremely proud of their behavior and sportsmanship. Wilder won, Fury win, boxing won. Boxing is a sport which is scored with objectivity. There are no goals, no runs, no baskets. It's the judge's determination round by round to come up with the final score at the end of the fight. This fight had 2 knockdowns, which certainly made the difference, which allowed Deontay Wilder to defend his title successfully. The WBC must recognize the California State Athletic Commission for their dedication and unquestionable leadership in boxing. I must praise the CSAC for working to find a neutral panel of officials with the consideration of having a fighter from the United States of America and a fighter from the United Kingdom. We must also recognize the importance of the CSAC to have instant replay available for this very important fight, even though it was not necessary. The instant replay protocol was in place and ready to be used had it been necessary. The WBC will continue to work with all jurisdictions to try and find agreements to make our sport better. We will continue to fight after fight to propose the use of open scoring after the 4th and 8th rounds because only the USA and UK do not allow this practice, which has brought great results all over the world as it brings transparency to the sport, allows the fighters in their corners to be aware of what is being scored in order to adjust during the fight. So they wanted to do open scoring after round 8 or round 4. Okay. All right. Now, the WBC backed the judges. I want to say the WBC, while it backed the judges, I want to say that it's somewhat corrupt. The WBC has proven that time and time again. And for such corruption to happen, and no disrespect to the WBC because it has been there for a very long time, and I really do love the WBC belt and all that. But the WBC trying to endorse a faulty verdict makes it very, very sad, in my opinion. And just because you tell me a judge is is having their opinion of how the fight is going is not good enough. Boxing is based on what we call competence. Competence. Not reputation, but competence. And if a judge is not judging a fight correctly, then that judge is being incompetent. Okay? That is why C.J. Russ kind of got removed from the major sphere of boxing. They told her to step down because C.J. Russ proved not to be competent in how she was handling certain affairs. Now, it could be because she deliberately was paid to do what she did. And maybe she's a very competent judge, but decided to skew it a certain way. But whatever it is, we need competent judging in the sport of boxing. And when you have a fight where the one boxer is completely outboxing another boxer, you cannot have a judge who ignores that. You just can't. And say it's a matter of opinion. No, this is not a matter of opinion. It's not about being subjective. It's about being objective. And so the WBC endorsing such a judge, it means that judge can go back and do this again. And they show that they're unapologetic in how this fight was conducted. I clearly know this fight was not a draw. Yes, Deontay Wilder knocked down Tyson Fury twice. One of the knockdowns, I would say, is not a knockdown. Tyson Fury being hit in the back of the head. But that's still being ticky-tacky. Point is, he knocked him down twice. But that was not enough to win this fight. And everyone knows that. Okay? Going back to what you guys were saying. I'm coming back here to your all right, so going back to Sergio Farri, I want to say that once again, the WBC did not They had the opportunity to address the concerns and to try to make the necessary adjustments, and they did not do so. Tommy Temper says he will vary. So Tyson Fury is the lineal champion, so he is, the man of the division. He beat the man, which was Vitaly Klitschko. That's why he's called the lineal champion. So that's why, yes, he has the crown. He's the guy you have to beat to really be the lineal champion, to get that. So that's why he's called the guy with the crown. Yes, that's why he's called the Gypsy King. He literally is the Gypsy King now. And he literally shows that he's Gypsy King because he goes into territories and he beats guys. He doesn't get the decision. This happened to him with another fighter in the amateurs when he was going up for the Olympics. He beat the guy, but they gave the guy they gave the guy I think you guys know who that is. I'm gonna tell you who it is in a second. I'll say David Price. David Price was the dude that he lost to in the amateurs when he was going for the Olympics, right? So David Price amounts to absolutely nothing now, but the point is he beat David Price. Everybody knew that, but politics, you know how it goes. Politics. Tommy Temper. I always thought Stevenson looked like a cruiser at light heavyweight, dehydrated. Oh, he a big light heavyweight. He's a big light heavyweight. He's a big dude. But I think late in the fight, he gets dehydrated and he slows down. Tommy Temper says, I'm baffled by all the judges' scores. Tommy Temper, WBC, we be corrupted. Tommy Temper says, I agree. Objectivity, not subjectivity. Tommy Temper, it's a sport with rules and not a street fight. Exactly. David Price. Yeah, Pricey. That's right. Yeah. So, shout out to all you guys that are watching. So, the WBC is unapologetic about this. It looks like they're not going to make any change. They're talking now about open scoring, kind of like what happened with Canelo versus Austin Trout, where you can see what the judges are scoring in real time. But I think sometimes if you have judges that are, I don't know what they're looking at, but they predetermine in their minds that this fight is going this way. There's nothing you can do about it, especially when the scorecards are so scattered like that. And I just think there's some corruption going on. Boxing has been corrupt for a long time, but there's corruption in boxing because Deontay Wilder is like the cash cow of the heavyweight division for America. And so they're not just going to give up their cash cow like that. Unless you could stop Deontay Wilder, knock him out, sever his senses from him. I get the feeling that these people are, just like with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., I get the feeling that they're going to do everything in their power to ensure that he doesn't lose. You know what I'm saying? Because he was completely outboxed. Okay? He's completely outboxed. Shout out to him and getting that knockdown. All right? He chased down Wilder. He saw the opportunity. He went for it. Because Wilder was being a little lazy. Not Wilder. Fury was being a little lazy in his defense. But at the end of the day, it's sad. It really is. Tommy Gunn, this is better than the LDBC. Fury knocked Price down in round 2. Yeah, we know. Knocked him down cold. Beat him up, too. Beat him. Tommy Temperature says, yo, Tommy, cheesy Rocky 5 reference. Lol. Tommy Gunn, shout out to you, brother. Sergio Farri, shout out to you. Shout out to you, Tommy Temper. Tommy Temper has supported my channel from the get-go. Been trying to get people to check out my channel and stuff. Much love to you guys. I see somebody just thumbs down my video. You believe that? Somebody just thumbs down my video. When you're partisan like that, that will happen. It's fanboys. Silly fanboys. You won't go, these silly fanboys won't go and put their opinions out there on their channel and put their faces up on here. But they will run it, they run under D-Lo and run away and then thumbs down. Like little, like little cowards, you know what I'm saying? Tommy Gunn, lol, I'm subbing. Okay, man. Shout out to you, bro. So that was what the WBC had to say. I feel rather disheartened by that because I always held the WBC in high regard, but I can see why Canelo threw away their belt, and doesn't have the respect he used to have for them. because it feels like they're just about money now. You know, they're looking at a rematch and they're talking about the draw is good. I don't understand it. I mean, if you know a little bit of boxing, man, you know, this is not being fanboy. This is just boxing. That's what disturbs me. You know, if you know a little bit about boxing, you know who won this fight. It's not like there's a lot of people who support Wilder and like, yo, well, Deontay Wilder really won this fight. Nobody's saying that. That's very few and far between. And most of those people are diehard Wilder fans, or they're black people who decided we're riding behind this black fighter. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to ride behind a black fighter because you know him or you appreciate him or whatever. But, oh, come on, man. You need to actually watch what was happening, man. I mean, come on now. You're going to be so partisan you deny the reality of the situation. That's the problem I have with people who they don't have a problem banning morals. It's like these people who follow Donald Trump all the time. No disrespect to people. You can't be following somebody because I have an alliance with him and I'm not going to break the alliance. That's stupid. You know, I hate that. You know, people call that they call it what they call it shit somebody who's loyal. That's not loyal. That's not being loyal. Once you start to divorce yourself from the truth, you're not being loyal anymore. You know what I'm saying? Loyalty involves honor and truth. Okay, and if you can't speak the truth and you can't be honorable like that, then you're not being loyal. You know what you're being? You being a mobster. You just attach your affiliation with blood to something, and you will live and die by that, even though it's doing wrong. You're gonna keep your allegiance to that, and that's just not me. I can't do that. All right, so here are some afterthoughts by Cliff Rold, who's an editor of BoxingScene.com, with respect to Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. And this is what he had to say about it. It ended as it began. Deontay Wilder is still the WBC heavyweight champion. Tyson Fury retains the lineal crown. He's still the man who beat the man. More people, it seems, think Fury won enough rounds to overcome 2 knockdowns, the latter of which has already become part of the folklore of boxing. Yeah, Tyson Fury is going to be etched forever in boxing for just getting up from that devastating 1-2, which would knock out anybody on the planet. A 1-2 like that supposed to put down anyone. Okay, so how he got up from that is legend. He has just become a living legend just from that. It'll cost him, but he's gonna be a living legend. This just made the fight epic. Even Deontay Wilder don't even know how he got up from that. This scribe can be counted among them. To these eyes, Fury won at least 8 and maybe 9 rounds of the fight, like most of us think. Okay, the majority of people think that Fury won this fight by 8 to 9 rounds, maybe even 10. It could have been a shutout. I've been watching guys on YouTube, social media. I've been looking at people everywhere. We've seen very, very reputable boxers and trainers in the business talking about how Fury won. So the people who are saying Wilder won, I am somewhat baffled by them because I cannot see their point of view. Not when you're basing winning on the 4 criteria of boxing that a round is judged on. I just can't see it. You know, for Wilder to have beaten Fury, in my opinion, he had to have 4 knockdowns. 4 knockdowns, or knock him out, right? And people have been trying to press and say that Wilder knocked out Fury, and that's a lie. It's based on falsehoods. He didn't knock out Fury. I don't know why you're trying to force that issue. Clearly, Fury was not knocked down. Fury beat the count. He beat both the 10-second count, and he beat also the count that the referee was doing, which was really the count that matters. People were trying to say then after that ticky-tack things like the referee was holding Fury and giving him more time to recoup, which is not true at all, is that he was checking to see that Fury was okay. When that got debunked, they started with a new thing, that Wilder had blacked out Fury, and Fury was blacked out for 5 minutes, 5 seconds, and therefore the ref should have waved it off. No, the ref shouldn't, could have, would have, do anything. The ref can do whatever he wants to do. And this ref decided to give Fury a chance and then to check to see if he was able and capable of continuing to fight. And so because Jack Reese was there, Fury was counted to 10. He got up and he did his thing. So at the end of the day, all I'm hearing from these Wilder fans and these people trying to defend Wilder are hopes and prayers. They're hoping and praying that they could prove a point that Wilder won. Why you got to stress so much on the knockdown? If the knockdown was so important and Wilder hurt Fury so much, he should have been able to finish off Fury in that round if he was so badly hurt, right? But it's only hope and prayers I'm hearing. I'm not hearing concrete stuff. I'm not hearing things based on facts. You look at punch stats, support that Fury dominated Wilder, okay? You look at the people who know a thing or two about boxing and the actual boxers and trainers, and very few boxers and trainers pick Wilder as the winner. Most of the boxers and trainers who saw that fight, and we're just not, and you know, we're not doing just Black Allegiance kind of stuff. Most of the boxers and trainers who saw that fight said that Fury definitely won the fight. Okay, you look at your own two eyes watching any round, and your two eyes tell you Fury's winning the fight. All right. This is an easy point. If Wilder did not knock down Fury, who would have won the fight? And if you say Fury would have won the fight, it means therefore that Fury was winning the fight. Therefore, Wilder wasn't winning the fight, which means that judge that gave Wilder 5, 115, 111 that said he won the fight, what is wrong with that judge? He's lying, right? So it's just straight off of those simple facts that we could see and read through the BS. So when the WBC starts defending that, there's a problem there. When they can acknowledge that they need to investigate it more, and then they come back with a full statement, that's different. But of course, they have to show confidence in their organization. And what they said was not good at all. It reflects badly on the WBC. That's for Mr. Suleiman and company to consider. And that's something, if I'm not mistaken, Pearl Whitaker versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was also a WBC bout. And that robbery also happened then. So the WBC is now having us look at them very dubiously. Let me just check. That was a really dubious fight, I must say. Yep. It was a WBC welterweight fight. So that they have a track history of doing this. You know, they have a track history of doing this, and that's sad. Tommy Temper says thumbs down. Tommy Temper says crybabies. Tommy Green says, oh, great point. Canelo dropped it. Yep. Tommy Temper like a hot stone. Tommy Gunn says, I always loved Mike Tyson, but Buster got him. Don King was yelling about it, he being down in 14 seconds, but Buster won. Actually, again, it doesn't matter how many seconds you're down for. It's what the referee counts that matters. You know what I'm saying? And all that second stuff is nonsense. Tommy Temper, I have rumors that Clit is coming back for one more fight, but against who? Klitschko? That's a dumb move. I think Klitschko should stay retired. Tommy Temper, Don King is a snake. Tommy Gunn, wow, really? Well, he's fought 2 of the big 3. Who is this 2 of the big 3 we talking about now? I'm not too sure who that is. You guys are talking about. Tommy says, what about Wilder's broken arms and legs? 12 months ago, 3 months ago, sorry. 3 months ago, Wilder had a broken arm, a broken hand, not even an arm, a broken hand. I think it was his right hand, the right hand that pretty much he was trying to use on Tyson Fury. And you know what's so funny about that, if I must say, this is what makes it humorous. Does it matter that he broke his hand? Why? Because he kept on missing with it anyway. He didn't land with that right hand, but I think it was once, and it was followed up by a left hook. Okay, and he put Fury down when he landed it. So what does it matter? The right hand wasn't landing anyway. So what's the point? You know what I mean? Tommy Gunn, damn, there was 2 minutes left. Wilder should have finished him, but he gassed. No, it's not that he gassed, man. Fury caught him with the same combination of punches. When Wilder was engaging Fury and was coming at him, right? And he was missing like crazy. Fury caught him with a right hand followed by a left hook. And Wilder grabbed him right after that. And Fury started going after Wilder. You guys forgot that? Yeah, that's what happened. Tommy Temper, Wilder fought so hard he kept coming. Showed great heart, in my opinion. Yeah, he totally did. And he was missing like crazy, so it really took a lot of energy from him. You know, Tommy Temper, second time he went the distance. Yep, 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 yep. Tommy Gunn. Okay, imagine Ali versus Wilder, man. Ali would be picking his round, man. Um, you do understand Muhammad Ali's only 6'3", right? That's perfect for Wilder. I mean, Wilder, smaller guy, Wilder does a lot better with. But once you get to a taller guy like Tyson Fury, he's very tall. And the problem with Tyson Fury is he's tall, but he moves really fast. He has quick feet. He has quick footwork. He has a quick reaction time. For a big man, Tyson Fury does a lot of things really, really fast. And that's why, and then he can box. There's a lot of things about boxing he knows. So actually, Wilder was very fortunate to catch him in the 12th round. That's more on, it's more on Fury than it is on Wilder, but nonetheless, Wilder was, he pounced on the opportunity when he saw the angle, and he really took advantage of it, and kudos to Wilder on that. Just again, Wilder is a very, very good boxer. A lot of people are playing down Wilder's boxing skills. Yes, when he starts to crash you, he's very wild, which is why his name is Wilder, probably. He tries to finish you by just throwing crazy punches, just throwing. And he probably should stay more composed. But for the most part, he's usually boxing you, okay? Until he gets to you and has to crash you. And he should learn how to crash, actually, properly. But, when he's boxing you, he's boxing you. He's got good boxing skill. Right? Tommy Temper, not early rounds, though. He got good boxing skill. Tyson Fury just another breed. He just on another level to Wilder. But it's Tyson Fury's fault that he lapsed in concentration, and Wilder really caught him nice and good. And he'll try and use that combination again in the follow-up fight in the rematch. Tommy Gunn says Wilder's jab looked great. Yeah, he was doing the jab to the pit for the entire fight. The jab to the pit was something that Tyson Fury parried a lot, but that was one of his more successful punches. Tommy Temper says Wilder is sniper, sharpshooter. Yeah, he's more of a sharpshooter. That's true. And he's actually quite accurate with what he does, usually. Tyson Fury made him very, very inaccurate, but, and Tyson Fury made him miss so much that he started getting anxious and started pushing his shots. So that's what happened. So Tyson Fury pretty much dictated that entire fight. That's why Tyson Fury could come back in the 12th round, start beating up Wilder. He had the defense to handle Wilder. And in the 9th round, he was all, mocking him and everything. And Wilder didn't seem to understand what Tyson Fury was doing. When Tyson Fury sticks out his head at you and he puts his hands behind his back, he's actually making himself small. And so it's an illusion. So when you try to hit Tyson Fury, now his body's way back there and his upper body's way in front of you. So he can move his upper body and just get out of the way of those punches real easy. Because he's basically going to move his upper body in space. You're going to have to try and find the target, which you're never going to find. So you're actually wasting your time when he pokes his face out and his tongue at you. You're wasting your time. You shouldn't fall for the bait. You should just stay, watch him, and let him mock you and stuff. And wait till he straightens up to try and come at him. Even though he doesn't do that either, he swivels a lot. So it's very hard to hit Tyson Fury. So there's a lot of things that, when you just think about the boxing aspect of it, it's very interesting. Okay, so I'm continuing on here. Fury's style might be winning, but not clear enough to give him all the rounds he deserved. In the pre-fight piece, one scenario considered if, as the road opponent, Fury's style might appear to be winning, but not clear enough to give him all the rounds he deserved. Maybe that's how they got the draw. Maybe that's what happened. With a couple of days to think about the fight, it's still hard to see where Wilder came up with 5 winning rounds. Same here with me. the number he needed for a draw, given the knockdowns and the assumption of a 10-8 frames when he dropped Fury. In a fight where landed blows were at a premium, the other aspect of the game mattered. Who was the ring general dictating the pace of the fight? Who defensively was doing a better job making the other miss? For most of the 8 rounds, that was Fury. He also appeared to win rounds 10 and 11. Yep. This might be a fight where the idea of consensus scoring is worth debating as a tool. Boxing has tried open scoring. Its results are mixed. In many cases, it takes drama out of the fight and can turn the late rounds into games of keep away. Consensus scoring would have produced an outcome the majority agreed with on Saturday. If we shade each round to the main favored or two of if we shade each round to the man favored on 2 of the 3 judges' cards, Fury wins the bouts 8 runs to 4 at a score of 114-112. That seems to be the most common score among those who favored Fury in general. That system would have solved for the head-scratching score of Alejandro Rochin, that's the Mexican judge, who somehow gave Wilder all of the first 4 rounds and 7 overall. As noted, it's hard from this view to see where Wilder won 5 rounds, but not entirely implausible. It would be harder to still find more than that judge who scored Wilder winning 7 rounds. Too often in big fights, we see single outlier scores that jump out as dramatically different from the fight the majority of the audience thinks they were watching. It happened years ago in Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler, and more recently in the first Paul Williams-Sergio Martinez fight, Floyd Mayweather versus Saul Canelo Alvarez, and the first Gennady Golovkin-Saul Alvarez fight. Maybe someone reading thinks that a draw was a fair outcome last weekend. So be it. Here's the problem. How the verdict is rendered matters. When one score lacks credibility in a sport that relies on 3 judges to weigh in, it strips legitimacy from the whole of the outcome. Boxing's paying customers and combatants deserve better. They still got plenty in Fury Wilder. It wasn't a great fight in the sense of loads of action-packed rounds, but it was instead a great event that delivered drama and all-time memorial finish. When Fury beat the count in the final round, and yes, he beat the count, period, and then rose to fight back, we got a round that will stand the test of time. Now we are all left to wonder, what's next? Let's get into it. The future for Wilder. Wilder is calling for an immediate rematch. It's the fight he wants, and given the debate about scores, the one he needs. Wilder isn't ever going to be a great boxer. Oh, he already is. He's known already as a thunderous puncher, and he's proven he's a thunderous puncher, so he's a great boxer. That's like saying George Foreman's not a great boxer. That's stupid, you know. Wilder's already proving himself to be a great boxer. At 33, this is the product of years of careful development. Some fighters are who they are. Wilder's a fighter with pretty good whiskers, stamina, and the sort of one-shot freak power akin to heavyweight bombers Alma Ray, Ernie Shavers, former middleweight and middleweight titleist Julius Jackson, and let's not forget George Foreman. They're never out of a fight, and Wilder comes out of the weekend a bigger star than at any point in his career. Wilder is also a reminder that the scale is not the most important thing in heavyweight boxing. Yeah, the dude's small. There have always been supersized heavyweights. There have always been smaller men with pop who try to get to them. A fighter only has to be big enough and have the right skill set to threaten greater size. The thing about Wilder that makes it so crazy is he's freakishly tall and fit. The dude is freakishly tall and fit. So for a guy 6'7", 209 pounds or 212 pounds is impressive. Not even NBA stars of that weight and size have that kind of weight. So Wilder is ridiculously fit. And it's just impressive how much he has punching power because of that. And not only is he fit, but he's very athletic. And not only that, but he's also got really good boxing acumen and really a pretty good boxing IQ. And so, you know, I think a lot of people write off Wilder for reasons unknown to me. What I see him trying in different fights and different things, the swivel and so on, and even his fighting stance is just beautiful to watch. I mean, he's a work of art. And again, like I said, and I've always been defending Deontay Wilder, Deontay Wilder is a legitimate world champion. I'm thankful that Tyson Fury actually acknowledged him as such. And I picked Wilder to beat just about every heavyweight in the division except for the following. Jarrell Miller, who's on the up-and-coming. I want to see Jarrell Miller face some tough level of competition. I think Jarrell Miller gives Deontay Wilder some problems, especially when he gets to the inside. I do think Tyson Fury will always beat Deontay Wilder. He'll always beat him. Once Tyson Fury's on his A game, he's always going to beat Deontay Wilder. It's just what it is. But I don't really see any other heavyweights out there that can beat Deontay Wilder. I think Jarrell Miller is one of the guys that's, again, up and coming, who's going to really make some legendary fights with Deontay with Deontay Wilder. I think once Tyson Fury beats Wilder, I think Tyson Fury rides off into the sunset, or he may go and beat Anthony Joshua. But I think after he beats those two guys, I think he's riding off into the sunset. Really great defensive fighter. I think Tyson Fury has a lot more to show us. I think Wilder has a lot more to show us. I think Anthony Joshua has a lot more to show us. But I think of all of them, I think Wilder has the most to show us. I think Wilder's going to improve a lot more. I think he will become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I think that's going to happen. I can see him having a number of fights with certain fighters as he tries to, elevate his game. I know this fight with Tyson Fury's totally elevated his game. I think he knows a little bit more about Tyson Fury. I think he'll still be amused by certain things that Tyson Fury does. But I love to see an immediate rematch. A fighter only has to be big enough and have the right skill set to threaten greater size. If an immediate rematch doesn't happen, Anthony Joshua feels a little further away for the moment. I think he should face Anthony Joshua after the rematch. I'd love to see that. I don't know if Anthony Joshua wants any piece of Wilder, but it is what it is. Wilder could always look at a rematch with Luis Ortiz, which could potentially play out in pay-per-view numbers, and take a grudge match with a Dominic Breazeale. Now, Dominic Breazeale is not on his level, and don't want to see that. Don't want to really see a Luis Ortiz rematch either. There's new people in the division he can face, so I would like to see him face some new faces. He already showed that he could beat Luis Ortiz, and he already showed, Anthony Joshua beat Dominic Breazeale, right? Okay. Didn't he beat Dominic Breazeale, though? I think he beat Dominic Breazeale, didn't he? And I think Anthony Joshua faced Dominic Breazeale after or something like that. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me see. Deontay Wilder. I can't remember. No, he never faced Dominic Breazeale. Okay. All right, that was Anthony Joshua. Why would we want to see him? I'm not dying to see him face Dominic Breazeale. I mean, Dominic Breazeale was a footballer, but no, I'm not really interested in that. Neither of those would be satisfying for he or the fans as a Fury rematch. Absolutely. Tyson Fury rematch, and get to it, and try to get unification with Anthony Joshua if you can. Or if you've lost that fight to Tyson Fury, maybe you would want to see who else you can get out there. But I do believe he's going to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world soon enough. I do believe that. The future for Tyson Fury. Say it again. And still the linear heavyweight king. Fury's claim to history crown was mitigated by many of his layoff and brief retirement. Saturday, he feinted, jabbed, and generally outboxed Wilder enough to remind that what he did to the then reigning Vladimir Klitschko was no one-off. He is economically in perhaps an even more stronger position off the draw verdict than he might have been off the win. Much depends on whether or not Showtime has an immediate option in his future. If they don't, he could find himself in the middle of a bidding war. His performance last weekend and gutsy rise from the dead has increased his star. A fight with Anthony Joshua in the UK is probably as big as it could ever get right now, and likely the richest UK scrap of all time. A rematch with Wilder might be the hottest ticket in the US in 2009. With Wilder and Joshua likely a harder deal to make, in a sense, all roads leads to Tyson Fury. He didn't get the win in the ring. He's going to win big the next time he signs on the dotted line, no matter who he fights. There will be no extended afterthoughts about the light heavyweight title clash, and saw Alexander Gavorstik capture the light heavyweight title from Adonis Stevenson. It doesn't feel right to dive into the fight or the future for the winner. As it stands, Stevenson remains hospitalized from head injury suffered from the fight. While some fans are ambivalent about Stevenson because of career choices or past transgressions, this much is true. He chose a career in part put his health on the line for out entertainment. Hold on, guys. Congratulations to the new champion. And hold on a second. Coming. Oh, all right, coming. Let me go first. So we want to come down the others on Sabbath. What was Monday night? Was Jason wants to come in and I was making extra preparations and I finished just about after 4. And I was too tired to take that drive to come down here. So I told Esther saying, Jason would like to go and see his son. I will bring Jason down. All right, so just want to make sure fam was sorted out. Yeah. So yes, he chose a career in a part, put his health on the line for entertainment. Congratulations to the champion, and he never really finished this part of it off. So yeah, I was talking with you guys about Adonis Stevenson, particularly that it was somewhat distressing to talk about his story, but I had to talk about it because I'm going to talk about it because I think there's a punchline and a learning lesson for a lot of fighters out there, and I pray that a lot of people will not uh, take the warning signs and don't just put yourself on the line such that you compromise your health and your well-being. It's very important. This guy went through his almost entire career and his health and well-being. He had been looking out for it until this particular moment, and now look what happened. You know what I mean? Now I'm hearing about. So let me see what you guys are saying here. Wow, that's quite a lot. Tommy Gunn says, Wilder Fury was the fight of 2018, in my opinion. That's good. Tommy Tibbet says, forgot about the Click fight. Didn't turn up. Both Fury and Wilder hadn't fought anyone better than that before. Yep. Tommy Guns, USA's best boxer. I wouldn't say, oh no, Deontay Wilder's not the best boxer in the United States. I think Deontay Wilder is the best heavyweight boxer at present in the United States, even though I would argue that Jarrell Miller, we got to keep our eye on him and see how he progresses with the level of competition that he's facing. Tommy Temper, I have paid for Arturia's boxing to finally show who won between Leonard and Hagler. Video should be out next month. Oh, that's cool. Hagler won that fight, in my opinion. Tommy Gunn, man, Hagler gave away too many early rounds. Tommy Temper says, if Wilder put more mass on his legs, he would have even more power. He shouldn't do that. I mean, he's doing just fine the way he is. You know, you put more mass. Think about it. You put on more mass, that means more weight. That means you have to carry more weight. So there's always a give and take with these things. Tommy Temper says yes. Hagley gifted the first and second rounds. I wouldn't say he gifted the first and second round. I just said he started at a certain speed, but he really picked it up. Tommy Temper Hagler. Tommy Temper says White would be a good fight for Wilder. Dillian White don't want no piece of Wilder. And Dillian White is not ready for Wilder. He'll get knocked out. He almost got knocked out by Joseph Parker. His stamina is in question as well. Tommy Gunn says AJ wants Wilder now, I think. I don't think so. Tommy Gunn says AJ KO'd Dominic Brazil. Yes, he did. Tommy Temperature says only AJ fought Brazil. Yep, that's correct. Tommy Temperature says how long you been YouTube, Tommy? Tommy Gunn and Tommy Temper. Tommy Gunn says this year T Street's my favorite so far. Okay. Tommy Temper says cool. I really like T Street. Cool. Tommy Gunn says YouTube has great fights, old PPVs. Oh yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of fights on YouTube. I like that YouTube has this free entertainment for everybody, So yeah, that's a plus right there. I want to talk about another thing I was seeing that Anthony Joshua may be looking at a face-off with Alexander Usyk. So hold on one second again. I gotta go. I'm sorry about these interruptions, but I gotta go. Hold on a second. Pineapple. 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 Pineapple.
Now it was Monday, and we eat out that yesterday. Bought another one again today this morning. That one was right tomorrow. So, how much was that much? Yeah. There you go. It's winter time, you know. I'm not, no, it's good. It's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying no, it's around that. Yeah. Nice. Florida goes up and down. And then it's like 2 weeks Celsius. About twice a year. Put mine on first, then 3 weeks. Oh, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. But it's straight for like 7 hours by car, but 1 hour by so we take 2.5 hours to go from ground. So you travel for 7 hours, or 7.5 hours, and these are straight highways, nothing like that to do. Yeah, we were not going to Florida and California. In our place, driving for 15 hours a day. Texas is the longest state. It took me an entire day to cross Texas. But I started in Texas and I finished there in Texas. But Arizona, Arizona is on the short. Right? Yes. Yes. It all comes down to laziness. You don't want to carry on the wallets. You don't want to carry anything. Don't touch it. Well, I quit my job early on this year. It was too stressful. And I've just been working on the houses. Um, without one house in my finish. House in the I wouldn't say construction business, but I'd say renovations. enjoy doing it. So the town I'm in is really busy. There's lots of events like, Gainesville. It's a big college town too. Big, college football. Anybody wants to repeat it?
Okay.
Up and down the stairs, washing, cleaning the yard, watering the flowers. She wants to sit down and not doing anything. Welcome. What that is what she said. Those things are good. I myself, I think, the most accepted regard she was so yesterday. But it can be really affecting for us. And very, very busy. That office and yeah, police with police. Can you come home? While you talking, just I was sitting on the chair. The CS is very nice.
Now, see if you want to use
I said, only water.
I was like, hey, no, I'm not sure.
Don't worry, all the things we have to mix. Every time I drink that, I feel it in my liver. Yes, shortly after. Especially when you put the wrong type of water. It is in chocolate. You go into the brandy. Very easy. Brandy. So many things they have here.
But
Food issues. Yeah, man. I want to make that some across there. You should do that. Yeah. think I saw do a Konami and do a roti and potato class. I don't know if it's doubles and then go up and train some people. Yeah. Yeah. I think carrying up. Thanks so much. Anybody else want to say something? So, Mary, let's prayer with you because need to go and rest. Relax. It's going to be a pain. But I don't know what this case is a different other case, the cases that I heard about. I listened to a lot of cases that people give testimony about medical marijuana and see. We know about that. They say the medical marijuana is one of the best relief for pain and it is non-addictive. Right? It didn't work. But maybe on this situation, maybe on a different situation. Okay. Okay. I could remember, or that's the way they have it. I don't know if this one is potent or what, I don't know what it is. But I don't know much about them neither. I have different types of, for different purposes. Yeah. I could remember me, you know, brother Sarah, who was living in Kumana. You could remember he used to suffer asthma. Well, he used to smoke a special type of marijuana in a pipe. Not the regular pipe where they used to smoke in. Give them a special pipe. We had medical marijuana to move to ease the congestion on their lungs. Yeah. And he used to use that to ease the congestion on his lungs until he left Sudan and he went back to Erin. Yeah, and he said when he went back to Erin, all his asthma disappeared. So then we had come to the conclusion what was causing his asthma there. He used to mine fouls downstairs. So it could have been the toxins from the foul down or whatever it is was causing his asthma. Because as soon as he left Kumana and he went back to Erie, where he belonged to, the asthma went. I would smoke it. I know lots of lectures, but then again, they have to prescribe those people who deal with that have to prescribe it to you. Because it have different dosage for different purposes, and you have to know what you're using and how you're using it. why like when you not go on the American market, buy food and drug administration is because your parents will not make no profit on it. In other words, people make all the drugs and then they would not be able to make profits out of it. Asking if on a market price. Yes. So the next question. So that because of that, they don't recommend it. Telling that they don't know about that. Cannot give answer. Answers. How that looks and well, yeah, that places that's well, in states and they legalize it in the states. Well, they're trying to legalize it here, but the Prime Minister said that we will have a special government sometime
Sorry about that, guys. I had to move away because I had some things to do. This podcast will have to come to an end pretty quickly. I'm sorry about that. What happened was that, you know, you got life and family and stuff, and you have to take care of people. So I'm sorry about that. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Um, I won't be able to talk too much more about different things. I'm just going to see what you guys are saying and engage you on that and boogie out. And by the way, you can also donate to this channel. To donate to this channel, is simple. It's either Western Union or MoneyGram. Is the donations for the channel. How it works out? It's very simple. I'll give you my information as to where I'm located, and then you send me the bin number for the MoneyGram or the Western Union. You just send it in, and that's basically how it works. And that will keep me running, keep the channel running. Hopefully, we don't. You never know what happens in life. Life is an interesting thing that there are twists and turns to it. So as long as I got time, I'm gonna try and get some of these boxing videos in for you guys, try to entertain you and get you in discussions. I really like Tommy Temper. He's a really cool dude, and we have a lot in common. So hopefully we can talk some more. Also, Tommy Gunn, it's great to be talking with you. I hope I can talk with you guys some more. But it's all up in the air, sort of like it's kind of like, as the situation presents itself, I can be able to talk to you guys. So it says here, Tommy Temper says, Tommy, who wins, Crawford or Spence? You guys like that? Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. That's a good matchup. I would like to know what you guys think about that. Tommy Temper says, sounds like Denny White in the background. And Tommy Temper says, I thought Ward was a dick for saying Wilder doesn't want the rematch. It's just his opinion. I think Ward, based on his experience with boxers, he knows boxers figure you out more. This is his thing, I think. And the next time it would be even a much more cleaner rematch with Tyson Fury. This is what Ward is pretty much saying because, you know, Tyson's a boxer. But Wilder sort of got onto him coming up late and was starting to land some punches on him. So who knows? Maybe Wilder gets a knockout like he wants to. So you can never tell. You can never tell. It's up to Tyson, really. I think if Tyson is on point, I think Tyson wins. They just fought, let Christmas pass and see before passing judgment. Okay, fair enough. I think Ward was just talking from his experience as a boxer, I think, personally. Yeah. Man, it's been nice talking to you guys. Shout out to you, Tommy Temper, Tommy Gunn. You guys Thank you for all the support and all the discussions that we get to have. You know, it takes my mind a little bit off of the present situation I'm in, as well as it helps me to be able to contribute something to the world. When you're not going out working that you would like to work and doing things that you would like to do because you know you want to focus your attention on certain people that are really matter in your life, you have to find an outlet somewhere, and this is my outlet, you know, to talk to you guys about boxing. I love boxing, not the violence of it particularly, but just the game plans and you know, the chess matches and just the brilliance of it. I like that. I like that. I don't really like the violence of it. You know, I'm more of a boxing strategist. I think I would like to be more of that kind of dude. Um, so there are still people responding to my video about Fury being given too much time by Jack Reese, 10 seconds to resume action and stuff like that. Um, that video, Eric Jones Jr. just replied, "Why did the ref by that?" Sometimes fans say things and I don't even understand what they're trying to say. Why did the ref get down to Fury but no one else in this? I'm not too sure. What do you mean? Why did the ref stoop down in front of Stuart Fury's face? Actually, Jack Reese explained he wanted to see Fury's eyes and his reaction up close to see if he could call it. He had to call the fight off or not. And so Fury, I think he had a grimace on his face. His eyes were closed, and he opened his eyes and then popped back up. So that's what Jack Reese said. He wanted to give Tyson Fury, as a champion, a lineal champion, a chance. So you want to give the boxer a fighting chance, but you also have to be careful that if you say you're giving them a chance, you're not sending them to their death. So basically, that's what Jack Reese was saying, which is illogical. I mean, only fanboys be saying, "Oh, he's buying Fury time." He's not buying Fury time, man. Come on. So anyway, that's what's going on there. Uh, well, it's kind of getting dark. It's in the afternoon now. It's 5:19 p.m. where I live. I guess where you live, maybe a different time. Hold on a second, man. There's so much stuff going on right now. I gotta just keep on leaving all the time. The phone is ringing. Somebody might get the phone out there. Let me see somebody get the phone. I'll just gonna let it ring. Okay, okay. All right, so yeah, that's basically the fight: Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Uh, you know how I think about it. Let me see what else you guys are saying in the chat section before I get out of here, because you guys are kind of fueling everything. It's nice talking boxing with you guys. Tommy, I'm gonna check you out on Facebook because you're saying there's something you want to speak to me about. I'm gonna check you out on Facebook. All right, bro. Tommy Tipper says, "Peace out, guys." All right, peace to you, man. Catch you later. Okay, so that's basically it. It was good talking with you guys. I got to get out of here as well. So have a good one, guys. Blessings.